Okay, family. As promised, I said I'd put a little bit of a yoga practice on video, so let's call this my experiment in teaching a very short, hopefully what will be very accessible yoga practice. So first thing is get your yoga mat out, come to sit in a cross-legged position. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but I'm sitting in what's called half lotus with my leg crossed on top of the other. I'm also sitting on a pillow, which my mom gave me. Thank you, Mom. You can also sit on a yoga block if you have them, if you want a little bit more height, or if you have a yoga blanket, you could fold that up underneath you. This is just easy and convenient for me, and I like the height of it, but I suggest that, especially if you're having trouble releasing your hip flexors here and letting your knees come down towards the floor, that you give yourself a little bit of elevation. Okay, so let's start out by opening our arms really wide, coming up to a high prayer, and then exhaling, bringing the prayer to heart center. Letting your thumbs press into your sternum over your heart and closing your eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths in, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling through the nose. And then when you exhale through the nose or the mouth, let the shoulders release. Down. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Bow your chin towards your hands. Feeling your lungs as they open and press into your hands. Inhale, lift your head and open your eyes. So it's something to keep in mind as we move through this practice, something that I am also trying to keep in mind as I move through my practice, is to breathe. Breathing is kind of hard right now, right? Not just because of the stress and anxiety that we're going through, but also with COVID, you know, it's a respiratory disease. And so psychologically, I think that has a big impact on how we breathe and how we move through our day. I know it certainly affects me. So when we think about breathing in our practice, think about not just inhaling forward, but think about the side body and the back body. Your lungs occupy this whole space underneath your ribs, and it's all flexible and it moves out and up when you inhale. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's start with a very gentle twist. So take your right arm up and then back, and bring your left hand to your right knee. Inhale, lift the chest, stay well seated on your sits bones, grounding your legs down, and then exhale, just twist around towards the back of your mat or whatever you're sitting on, towards the back of the room. Inhale, lift your chest, maybe come out of the twist a little bit, and then exhale, just gently twist again. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, bring your left arm back, bring your right hand to your left knee. Inhale, lift the chest, stay well seated on your sits bones, and then exhale, take a twist. Inhale, lift the heart, let the legs stay still, forget about the legs for now, they're just going to be here, and then exhale, twist. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale, twist. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then exhale, hands through prayer center. Okay, I'm going to back up for this next one because realizing, again, experimenting, first time doing this, want to make sure you can see me. So you stay where you are, doesn't matter where you move. So hands are at prayer center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat in front of you and scoot your butt back a little bit, right? So that you're sitting really well on whatever you're sitting on. And then slowly walk your hands forward, reaching your fingertips forward, and then let your head drop. So you're reaching forward with the fingertips and back through the sits bones, right? Because a stretch has two ends, moving in opposite directions. So we're reaching through our fingers and our sits bones. And let your head go. Maybe roll your forehead on the ground.
loosening up the neck. And then from here, you're gonna inhale, come up onto all fours. So you'll uncross your legs and remove the whatever you were sitting on, if you were sitting on anything. Okay, now back up again, all right. And so let's just take a few cat-cows here. So cat-cow is an inhale, lifting the chest and the sits bones, and then exhaling, drawing the navel to the spine and rounding the back. Okay, so I'm going to show you from the side, just so we're clear on what we're doing here. So we are inhaling. Just tuck this in, you can see my articulation a little better. Okay, so we're inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the sits bones, lifting the heart, and then exhaling, pressing into the hands and the feet, rounding the back, drawing the navel in towards the spine. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And keep going like that. I'm going to come back to face you. I might move to that angle every once in a while as we move through our practice. You stay where you are. I'm just moving so you can get a different angle on me so that you can make sure that you are properly aligned, since I can't give you any actual physical instruction because I can't see you because it's a video. Okay, so from here you're going to tuck your toes under as much as you can. You're going to walk your hands back. You're going to come to sit up on your heels. This is a really intense foot stretch, but it feels awesome. If this is too much, you're going to keep your hands down but let your sits bones come back towards your heels. So that's going to look like this. So you're going to either be sitting like this with the toes under, like so, lifting the heart, nice length in the spinal column, or you're going to have your hands down but your hips back. So this will be a less intense stretch, right? So stay here, breathing in, breathing out. One more inhale, and one more exhale. And then bring the hands down. You're going to untuck your toes, and then just, I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm banging my feet on the ground. Wake them up a little bit, right? Okay. And then we're going to come back to sit on our heels if this feels comfortable. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can take your pillow or a yoga block and put it between your heels. So as you can see, I have the yoga block between my heels. I'm going to bring my knees together now, and I'm going to sit back on the yoga block. Okay, so from here, if you're using the pillow, what you're going to do is you're actually going to bring the pillow, and you're going to bring it like so across your legs, and you're going to sit down on it like that, okay? So that'll just depend on what you're using. Okay, so we're going to do some breathing exercises. I'm going to move forward to do this. Okay, test subjects. Okay, thanks for your patience. So we're going to come up like this. We're going to inhale, bring our arms all the way up, exhale, cross our arms, grab our shoulders, and on our exhale, sit back and bow down. Inhale, open the arms, come all the way up, cross the arms the opposite way, grab the shoulders. Inhale. Don't worry too much about the crisscrossing of the arms. Just if you feel like you've done it a lot on one side, maybe just try it on the other side for a few times. And just keep going, take your time, doing it at your own pace. Take a few more, and then come to sit back on your heels. Bring your hands to your thighs. Take a minute to feel your breath. That might have elevated your heart rate slightly, so acknowledge that. Come back to your breath. And then we're going to do one more breathing exercise. So we're going to bring your hands forward, And then on your inhale, you're going to draw your hands back. And just like we did in our cat-cow, our cat position, you're going to lift your heart, draw your elbows back. And then exhale, you're going to round forward, pressing your palms towards your knees, dropping your chin. Inhale, lift the heart, draw the elbows back. And exhale, round. Okay, keep going. I'm going to show you from the side. Okay, so that's inhaling, drawing the elbows back, lifting the heart, staying well sat on your sits bones, and then exhaling, rounding the spine just like we did in our cow. Inhale, cat chest, and exhale, cow. So take a few more of those on your own. And then go ahead and find a neutral spine, sitting back on your pillow or on your heels or on your block. Okay, so you're going to reach your right arm forward, palm up. You're going to bring your left arm on top. Bend the elbows. This might be where you stay. You can bring your hands to your shoulders like we did when we were doing the breath exercise. Or if you feel comfortable and it works for you, you can either bring your hands together so that your back of your hand is inside of your palm, or you can bring your palms together. So if you have your hands up like this, active fingers, right? I don't want any of this, you know, really reach, stretch your fingers up. On your inhale, you're going to lift your elbows to level with your shoulders. Breathing in, breathing out, and then you're going to reach your elbows forward. Staying well sat on your sits bones. Breathing in, breathing out. You're really going to feel the stretch. Let's do it this way. Where you're really going to feel the stretch here is in your shoulders, right? And you might feel it a little bit in your scalene muscles, here in your neck. You want to make sure you're not up here, right? We want our shoulders down and away from our ears, even as we reach our elbows forward. Now go ahead and switch arms. You're going to bring your left arm forward, palm up, right arm on top, bend the elbows. Again, hands can come like this. Hands can be here. Hands can be palm to palm. And again, sitting well on the sits bones, lengthen up through the spinal column, lift the elbows so that they're at shoulder height. And then reach the elbows forward and breathe. Now we're restricting the movement of our front body, right? So where are we breathing? We're breathing into our back body, right? Remember, just a few minutes ago, at the beginning of this class, we talked about how we breathe into the entirety of our rib cage. Going, take a few more deep breaths here, and then go ahead and slowly unwind your arms. All right, now let's come to stand on our knees. We're going to take away our yoga block or our pillows. Now for this, if you do happen to have yoga blocks handy, I'm going to say go ahead and put them here. If you do not have yoga blocks, you can use things like a can, canned vegetables, or books. If you've got nice thick books. Luckily, I have a bunch right here handy. Harry Potter. You can use those also as props to place your hands on, okay? So those are just a couple of options here, because I know not everyone is set up at home. So go ahead and place your props down. You may or may not need them. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come and we're going to stand on our knees. I'm going to need that space in a minute. We're going to stand on our knees, right? Lift the heart, really lengthen up. So you want to think, it's sort of like a kneeling Tadasana, right? So you want to think of your thighs moving backwards, but your hip moving forwards. And so you're finding the strength and the lengthening in the opposition of those two movements. Lifting the heart, releasing the shoulders down. So start with our hands on our hips. We're going to shift our weight slightly into our left leg, and then we're going to take a big step forward with our right foot. So coming into crescent lunge legs. Now go ahead and make sure when you stepped forward that you didn't step like in line with your knee, right? So you want to have your legs about hips distance apart. Okay. Pressing into the back of the foot and the big toe ball of the front foot, okay? You're gonna reach your arms up towards the sky. Spiraling the pinkies in, releasing the shoulders down. You're gonna pull the belly away from the thigh, right? So we don't wanna be collapsing into our low back. I'll show you this from the other angle in just a second. So we're gonna be reaching our belly away from our thigh as we press down into the big toe of the front foot. Now the other thing we wanna think about here is bringing our left hip forward, right? So if you can think about, if you had a little string attached to your tailbone that went around the side of your hip like this, and if you could hold that string and you could just rotate that hip sort of internally, right, to bring it forward, so the action is like this, moving forward. And at the same time, you're drawing a line from the outside of your front knee back towards your hip here, that same hip. So drawing that leg back. And again, we're finding strength and stability in the opposition of those two forces. Inhaling. Okay, so I'm going to show you this from the side. Okay, so nice 90-degree angle in the front leg, right? Drawing the belly, low belly away from the thigh. Reaching the arms up. If we want to drop the hips, we're dropping the hips, not the belly, right? Lifting the arms. If you want to come into the back bend comes from the upper back. Lifting back, okay? Here maybe you interlace your fingers, bring your hands behind your head, opening your heart, opening your chest, right? Inhaling, lifting the heart, breathing in, breathing out. Drawing, again, we're bringing this hip forward, so that action that you couldn't see my hand doing, it's like this, whoosh, right? Hips coming around and forward, and this hip is coming back. Okay, a few more breaths here. And you're going to inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down to your blocks or your books or your cans. And then exhale, you're going to shift your hips back, lengthening the front leg. So you might want to adjust your blocks. You can bring them back to frame your foot. If this is still too much for you, if you have blocks or if you have a lot of books, you can bring your books up so that your heart is lifted, right? But the action is you want to flex this foot, really splay the toes. Think of the pinky toe coming back towards the midline. And breathe. Okay, let me show you that from the side. So we bring our hands down on our blocks, and then we're lengthening the front leg and lifting the toes. So you see my my hips nowhere near my heel, so I'm not coming down like this, right? That's not the stretch. The stretch is for the back of the leg and the root of the thigh. Heart reaches forward. Maybe you forward fold. If you're here, your same action in the legs. You're just lifting your heart to decrease the intensity of the stretch. So a lot of this depends on this back foot here, right? Pressing it down onto the ground and really flexing and pushing into the heel of the front foot. Okay, so from here, we're going to move between these two poses, okay? So we're back, so you're going to bring your front foot down, bend your front knee, sweep your arms up for your crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come down, front leg lengthens, hips come back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down, lengthen the front leg. Inhale, lift. 3, exhale, lengthen and back. Inhale up, crescent lunge. Exhale, 4, lengthen runner's lunge. Inhale, lengthen Anjaneyasana. Exhale, half Hanuman Asana. And then inhale, come up. You can keep your hands on your blocks. You're going to shift your hips back so that your hip comes over your knee. And then hands come to hips, and you're going to step back. Whew. All right, so let's do that on the other side. So again, in our kneeling Tadasana, you're going to bring your thighs back, really active thighs reaching back behind you, pelvis forward, heart lifts, shoulders away from the ears, hands on hips. Inhale, step the left leg forward. Again, you want about hips distance apart between your feet. You want a nice 90-degree angle in the front leg. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, draw the navel away from the thighs so that we have activation in our core and we can lengthen up, lengthen. Press down into the big toe ball of the front foot for stability in that knee. And another thing to think about is sometimes our knee wants to go this way, sometimes it wants to go this way, right? We want the knee to be directly over our middle two toes. So go ahead and take a look down, see where your knee is. Inhale, lift. Exhale, interlace the fingers, maybe the opposite way, which is the way that feels weird. Lift the heart, open the elbows. Maybe you come into that slight back bend, but you might just be here. That's fine. Breathing in, breathing out. Remembering to press down into the feet. And here again, to find that stability, we want to think about the right hip coming forward, right? Whoosh. Right? And the left hip coming forward. So we're doing this, right? The little string to the tailbone comes around the hip and we pull it forward. You know, like one of those towels if you were like rubbing your butt or like drying off your butt after the shower like they did in the old tiny cartoons. I have an image of like Yogi Bear doing that maybe in my mind. And then the outside of the front knee, like there's an arrow going back towards that same hip. So again, that opposition. One more big inhale. Exhale, release the arms up and down. Lengthen the left leg, lift the left toes. Breathing in, breathing out. Heart comes forward. Maybe you're here on the ground. Maybe you're way up high back here, but no matter what, you're dragging the left hip back, flexing the left toes, and finding stability by pressing down into the top of the right foot. And then let's start our moving meditation here. We're gonna bend the left knee, lift the arms up for a crescent lunge, and then exhale, runner's lunge. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the heart. Exhale, lengthen the left leg, flex the toes. Inhale, lift the heart for 3. Exhale, lengthen the leg. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, runner's lunge for 4. And then inhale, lengthen the arms up for Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, half Hanuman Asana. Inhale, come forward, keep your hands on the blocks. Inhale, hands to hips. And then go ahead and step your knees back together. And then let's come to sit down on our heels. Maybe you bring that block or that pillow back behind you to sit on. Hands come to thighs. Let's take a minute to breathe, find our breath. Even as we breathe and sit in silence, remember to root down into the sits bones so you find a stability, a groundedness in your legs, in your hips, and your pelvis. From there, you can lengthen up through the spinal column, finding access to the lungs, right? So often when we get stressed, I know me, I've been having a lot of shoulder pain because I tend to hold all my tension in my shoulders. So every time something stressful happens, I do something like this. And it's like that's an exaggeration, it's like a micro movement. I don't even realize it. And so a lot of what my practice has become lately is releasing the shoulders down and away from my ears. Opening the collarbone. Go ahead and inhale, open your eyes. Come to your knees and let's come to stand. I thought it might be nice to practice one standing balance pose, because that's something that also can be thrown out of whack at a time where we see so much change so suddenly. So let's do tree pose. So for those of you who are new to tree pose, I'm going to offer a couple of options. If you have a block, you can use the block, and I'll show you modification with that. Or you can just use the ground to modify. So it really depends. Let me step back. Okay. So first thing is you're going to root down into your right foot. So that means really pressing down into the right foot and then really pressing down into the left foot and finding that strong Tadasana. So again, that's the thighs moving backwards, the hips coming forwards, the lifting of the kneecaps, right? So you feel really active, strong in your legs. Like if you touch your thighs, nothing jiggles, right? That's sort of where we want to be. That is where we want to be. And then from here, you're going to lift up through your abdomen all the way up to your heart. And then you're going to release your shoulders down, right? If you find your shoulders are coming forward, you're going to spin your palms forward, and that's going to externally rotate your arms and your shoulders. So you're going to expose your heart a little bit more, which when we're feeling vulnerable is sometimes a hard thing to do. So you might actively have to think of opening the heart up, broadening across the collarbone, opening the shoulders back and down. Okay. From here, we're going to shift the weight into our right foot. And you're going to bend your left knee so that you come onto the ball of your left toes. And from here, you're going to inhale, lift your left knee into your hand, right? So when we get here, we're going to readjust, right? Because you might have lost. You might be, oh, I got all jiggly in my thigh and I lost my kneecap. So we're going to root down into the right foot, lift the kneecap, firm up the thigh. From here, right hand on hip, you're going to bring your foot into your thigh. Woo. You're going to bring your foot into your thigh. Wobbly is 100% okay. You're going to press this foot right into the thigh bone. Reach the arms up. Tree pose. If this is challenging for you, you can bring your foot to the inside of your calf, right? Same thing, you're going to press the foot into the calf back into the foot, so we stay with that strong, active leg, opening the knee out to the side. If this is still a little much for you, we can do what we call a kickstand. So you're going to bring your heel to your ankle, right? But still active leg. No reason to let this go, right? Strong, strong, strong right leg. Hands can be here or they can be here. If you've got a block and you want a little bit more height, you can always do this if you're practicing your balancing, right? Same principles apply. Tailbone comes down, hips come forward, thigh comes back. So take a few breaths here in your tree pose. It's nice to focus on something that is above your eye level and in front of you. That'll help give you stability. We call that a drishti or a focus point. Inhale. Exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. Bring your knee forward and your foot down. We'll do the other side. So root down into the left foot. Hands start at hips. Bend the right knee. And then go ahead and bring the right knee up into your hand. And even if you're going to do one of the other modifications, start with this, because this is going to give you a sense of the balance if this is available to you. And from here, lift the kneecap, firm up the thigh, root down into the foot. You're really going to find that stability. Then you're going to bring your foot into the inside of your thigh. Again, refine your standing leg. Hands can start at hips. Come to prayer. And then lift the arms up. Opening the hip, settling down into the standing leg. And breathe. Inhale, bring the right knee forward. Exhale, bring the right foot down. Inhale, open the arms and let's swan dive all the way down. We'll bring our hands to the ground and let the head go. Maybe shake your head no. Nod it yes. Soft bend to the knees to give you access to the hips so you can just let it all go. Big inhale. Exhale. Fluttering it out your lips. Inhale. Exhale. And from here, let's come down, back down to the ground. Go ahead, grab your pillow or your block. Mine I threw around the corner. And come to sit. Bring your feet together in front of you for Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So you're going to bring the soles of your feet together, and then you're going to slowly open your feet like a book, right? That's what we like to say. And you can scoot your heels as close as comfortable to your groin as possible. If you have blocks and you're feeling a lot of stretch here and it's feeling maybe not painful but pretty intense and you feel like you want a little support, you can always bring blocks underneath your knees or your books underneath your knees. Grab your ankles or your feet, root down into your sits bones. You can give yourself a little wiggle. And then inhale, lift the heart, exhale, drop the shoulders, and just let the legs go. Another great way to practice this pose is to come back against a wall. I don't know where you are, in your apartment or your bedroom or living room. You can still see me, sort of, okay? Scoot your back right up to the wall so that the back of your buttocks, your low back, your mid back and upper back are against the wall. Same position, just using the wall to help you sit upright and to release the legs. Shoulders melt away from the ears. Unlock the jaw. Unlock the tongue. Sides of the eyes come down, the eyebrows. Keep pressing and lifting the heart if you're not against the wall, or pressing the back against the wall if that's where you are. I don't know if you can hear that, but clearly it's exercise time in my apartment building. I think my neighbor has gotten into some sort of cardiovascular routine that involves jumping up and down on the floor. And slowly open your eyes. I'll come back here. And then let's cross our legs again and let's come and fold forward one more time like we did at the beginning of class. Reaching the fingertips forward and reaching the sits bones back. Inhale, walk your hands back to find a nice seated position. Let's finish with a final twist. Inhaling, lifting the arms up. Exhaling, twisting to the right. Inhale, arms up, and exhaling, twisting to the left.
reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, pull your hands to prayer heart center. Inhale. Exhale. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed, family. Miss you.